Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Quick look at ICP here again. Just double checking a couple things. We are still looking fairly well, but we're starting to see some signs of slowing down, of course. That happens when you're range bound, but we can also identify that we've got some pretty obvious, increasing value here. In other words, higher lows with parallel highs. And oftentimes when you see this, the price action does tend to shoot up versus down. Now, again, it's just a statistical probability. It's not a guarantee, but likelihood of it squeezing itself into this little wedge and then continuing further up. So this appears to be the beginning of something like that. It's still a little premature, of course. Try not to attach yourself to too many patterns, folks. It's could be a dark side of trading. Some people will get really hard on it and just destroy their accounts when they do that. Either way, thanks again. Welcome aboard. Hope you can learn something today. Quick little congrats to our community members here. We shorted Bitcoin and AVAX last night with good success. 21%, 13%, just some 5x leverage trades there. Technically 10x for Bitcoin, so we got plenty of profit left to take, but generally speaking, that is what we did last night. So if you're curious about why we took those shorts, jump on into those analysis from yesterday. You'll see it. So this is ICP's liquidation. It's getting kind of hot and spicy here. So what I mean by that is $21, heavy concentration of shorts, trying to short this coin right there, and of course an equal amount of longs at 1850. So this coin is seeing some pretty interesting behavior. In other words, people are starting to FOMO in pretty hard. And what I mean by that is we didn't used to see, as the price continued higher, liquidation levels accumulate so heavy just below the price action. Now we're starting to see a lot of people jumping on in and trying to catch the train, so to speak, right? So just be mindful that we got this, $18.50 upwards of $21 as two potential areas of liquidation. And those areas are important, folks, just to ensure that you understand generally where the price action could gravitate towards. We just saw this with Bitcoin, for example. This is what a liquidation hunt looks like. Wicks up, good wreckage there, destroyed all the shorts, comes back down to destroy all the longs. It's par for the course, folks, and I would not be surprised if we see something similar for ICP. It could come in the ways of this, and then back down. Could be a power 3 where we see this channel here, price wicks up, and then just drives the price back down. There's a lot of different scenarios here, of course, folks, but once more, that's generally what we're looking at. So I would just be mindful and cognizant of those areas, just so you understand that you can maximize your benefit if you put your stop losses either above or below those certain areas. For example, if you're going to short, which I don't recommend at this point, but if you were to, a stop loss just above that $21 mark might be appropriate. So that way, when that liquidation level gets hit, the price turns around and you don't get destroyed. Okay, something along those lines. It's just a rough estimate, just a rough example rather. I do not recommend shorting. I just wanted to say that as as an example. Some people, I swear, they hear one word and they're like, "Oh, geez, Cash said to short. I'm gonna go hard and heavy." It's kind of comical in a way, but it's also unfortunate that people don't listen. So do yourself a favor, watch the whole analysis. You'll actually come out better educated and make better decisions. It's an interesting coincidence, but it tends to happen all the time. All right, so PD sequential, we can see we're getting up to a 7 here. So keep in mind, we're 7 days of continuation in the same direction. This doesn't mean it's just going to turn around in 2 days, but hypothetically, we're getting closer toward the top of this run. Okay. Again, you can only have so many green candles without retracement. It's just kind of the natural law of, what goes up must come down. It's gravity, right? Trading has gravity too. Okay, so let's take a look at some things here. There's nothing really telling us that anything is going to shift momentum. Daily time frame is still very bullish. Yeah, stochastic swinging to the side a little bit, but it's almost hitting that 100 mark, so it's starting to plateau. MACD is converging. We're over 70 on the RSI. Keep in mind, when you get over 70 on the RSI, literally we can see this happen or maintain itself for over somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 weeks. So I don't necessarily think ICP is just going to drop like a rock. But if we do start dropping below 70 on the daily, that would probably be an indication that the trend is reversing. But once more, you want to identify that trend before it happens, and the 4 hours is a much better indicator for that. So let's go ahead and look at this time frame and kind of see where we're at. So if we look at the MACD, we are starting to diverge. Doesn't mean the sky is going to fall, but it does imply that we're seeing a shift in momentum potentially. Stochastic is already bottomed out though, and it's looking like it's wanting to swing upwards. This conflicting information tells us that we've got a couple of case scenarios here where the price could go higher, but it should go lower. That's just really what should happen, right? The laws of trading tell us that the price should pull back at any point. Okay? Again, this is what happens in crypto though, folks. It's this continuation, this craziness that occurs. And look at this, literally every 12 hours, we're seeing a spike in volume. 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. It's an interesting coincidence, but I really don't believe in coincidences anymore in crypto. It's just all nonsense sometimes. But it's good nonsense depending on what side of the tracks you're on. The truth here is, though, there's a ton of volume at about 1950, and if we look at the secondary amount, we can see about $17. So as I mentioned from yesterday, $17, 1950, those are two areas of heavy volume. So just bear that in mind. I have an alert here set somewhere in the $17 range, because my hope is that if the price were to pull back, we can get a fill somewhere in the $17 range, because that's the next secondary most amount of volume based on, or segment most of support based on volume that we can see here. Anyways, just some kind of things to throw out there. Regardless of that fact, that may never happen. It's okay if it doesn't, but it would be cool to get in there. That I would say pending Bitcoin, just say Bitcoin pulls back to 64,000, for example, to fill that CME gap. Then we could very well see something along those lines from ICP to retrace a 17. It might take something like that for that to occur, though, honestly. I think a larger catalyst is necessary at this point for ICP to slow down. Either way you look at it, we can see here, everything's in great shape. We're still over 70 on the RSI. So to me, until the RSI drops below 70, we have no reason to consider closing your position. So if you're in a long position, you should just consider keeping it open. Really no reason to do that. Once again, there's some other things you might want to look at. Let's look at the hourly here, and this is what I noticed earlier. The lagging span is not free and clear of the price action. So in other words, if you got in somewhere in the $10 to $13 range, you could have comfortably rode that out till now. Because legitimately, this indicator is telling us that the momentum is shifting or slowing down, and that taking profits would be advantageous. I would side with that. I think it's important. You can't go broke taking profits. So I would highly recommend considering that, because again, a break to the upside isn't 100% guarantee. Now, this ascending trend line concurrent with the fairly parallel highs. I mean, if we squeeze this down a little bit, you can kind of see that we have these candlestick closures are right there together. So right there at about $20.20 as a round number is a pretty solid amount of resistance. Okay, so unless the price can break out here in the near future, we might want to presume that it could pull back. But here's the thing. The cloud is consolidating right there at that ascending trend line. The likelihood of the price action holding right here is very high. Okay, so do not for a second consider taking a short. You are going to have statistically a larger benefit / probability of taking a long position and finding profit. So does it feel comfortable to take a long at $20? I don't feel comfortable doing that, me personally. Based on everything here so far, it's due for a correction, but all the indicators are telling us that that correction shouldn't happen yet. It probably happen in the near future, but maybe right now, probably not. I mean, if you look at this and you compare this with Bitcoin, Bitcoin is literally dropping right now as we speak, and ICP is sustaining itself. This is craziness. Again, not every coin aligns itself with Bitcoin, and the ones that don't are the ones that are profitable, and we can see ICP has been very profitable. I'm so glad that I added to my bag back at $10, and I have a fairly large position back in like the $3 to $4 range. So I'm not going to touch mine, honestly. I'm just going to leave it alone. I think it's going to continue to run. But I would just say, logically, a pullback would make sense in the relative near future, but it doesn't look like that time is right now. So do with that what you will. I hope this serves you beneficially and you learned something today. Make sure you trade on Bitunix exchange, link down below for some really nice benefit rewards. I mention this because they do offer, they offer no KYC or VPN. That's mainly the reason why we use them. But these benefit rewards are very, very nice. You get some good deposit rewards. So, of course, check that out. That you can trade ICP on this exchange. They have been very good to us. So thank you, Bitunix. And thank you, too, for liking, subscribing, and following if you haven't already. We look forward to work with you. If you do want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is a site. Link down below. We'll talk to you later. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you for your time.